Hello everyone, this is PHTV Channel 4. I'm Sue Jankowski. We are happy to have you watch our program Meet with Moraine, which we have every single month, I think, as you know. And today we have a great guest, as always. We have Dr. Dave Dammon. Welcome, Dave.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. Dave, you got a really long title here. Vice President of Administrative Services and Chair of the Sustainability Committee. It's almost a tongue twister. That is sounds like a lot of responsibility. But before we talk about everything's involved with that, I'd love to know a little about your background.
Okay, this is my second career being in higher education. My first career was I was in law enforcement for 28 years.
Oh, okay.
I retired a few years back as a sergeant from the Belvedere Police Department in Belvedere, Illinois. My journey in higher ed began teaching. I was an adjunct instructor for criminal justice. And throughout my career, I was able to move up from adjunct to tenured faculty. I was a dean. Various responsibilities in higher ed moving up, as well as my education moved up. I went back to school. I'm a lifelong learner. I didn't get my master's degree until I was in my 40s and my doctorate until I was in my 50s. So
it's never too late.
It's not.
No.
And once I got out of law enforcement, my role transitioned very well into leadership at the community college level. I've been now over a decade in facilities and administration type roles at college.
That's quite a change, really, from law enforcement to teaching. I mean, I suppose there's some blending there, but it's that's an interesting transition. So as a lifelong learner, you really kind of felt the need to get into that education.
It's all people.
It's all people.
Right?
Yeah.
The law enforcement was learning to work with people on a daily basis from all walks of life.
That's
and
true.
College is the same way.
That's right.
I really came from the community college environment. I was one of those students that didn't know what I was going to do out of high school, and I went to a local community college, Rock Valley College up in Rockford, and walked on campus not knowing what I wanted to be when I grew up. And they gave me some guidance and direction in my life. And I've always found community colleges very interesting, that we serve so much of the population, and we can give young students, that guidance into helping them get into a career.
I think that's so important that you mentioned that, because I think there's so many young people, I would say the majority, aren't really sure what they want to do. So if you get started at the community college, which is a wonderful place to go, then you can kind of feel it out, like, what do you want to do? And that's what you did.
Yeah, there's a lot of general ed classes that they can take to further their education from high school. And then specifically, there's like 2-year programs where you can get into a career. Career technical education programs. You go to school for 2 years and you can get a wonderful, well-paying job after just 2 years of school. And that was kind of how I started out. I went into criminal justice. The problem was that I was only 19 years old, I think, when I got my associate's degree, so I wasn't old enough to be a police officer yet, so I continued on with school with some friends. I think that we offer a lot of different programs to cover a lot of different backgrounds and needs, and we're really good at finding those relationships with students to find out what they need and get them headed in the right direction.
Is that what you enjoy about being in the administrative part of your job?
So my role now, I cover everything from like capital projects, the police department, maintenance, grounds. I'm really everything that's on the other end of the academic side. So my role, we provide the environment and a safe, secure, welcoming environment for the students to go to school at.
And I really think everybody feels that way about the Moraine Valley College. I'm wondering now, a big part of your responsibility is the sustainability kind of practice at the college. So I looked at it and I thought, well, I'm a little surprised that this is like, so important at the college. What makes it such an important aspect of that sustainability?
So Moraine Valley Community College has a very long and rich history of being a sustainable institution. And by sustainable, it's not just the money part of saving money by like turning off the lights or, only using so many trash bags. We do that, but I think it's a lot more than that at the college. You know, we are part of the community, funded by the community, funded by our students. And the biggest part of the sustainability is the educational part. We want to teach both our students, faculty, and staff how to have sustainable practices. So we're taking care of that next generation. You know, the college, by teaching sustainability within their curriculums, we're building that next generation of sustainable leaders. You know, there's only so many resources out there. When I stepped into the role a little bit more than a year ago, I quickly learned that, you know, our college had a lot to do with sustainability. There were a lot of irons in the fire. And so pre-COVID, through that 2020 time slowed things, and we're still in the process of getting back to where we were because it's important to the community. One of our more recent projects has been like getting our recycling back to where it needs to be. We're now working on some tree planting and things like that going on campus to reinvigorate the sustainability committees that there are. There's a student sustainability committee, there's a faculty and staff sustainability committee, just to bring awareness to it on campus.
I'm seeing here that there's a partnership with Trees Forever. I'm not familiar with Trees Forever. And that they're helping you restore and expand the tree canopy in the grounds there. But I don't, kind of explain that because I'm not sure about that.
So when I first came to Moraine Valley, which was January a year ago, January was my year anniversary. One of the things as I was first getting to know everybody that I was told was that we had a lot of trees that were ill that we had to remove. And that we had an arboretum status there, and I can go into that a little bit. We were looking at what was going on with the trees. So one of the first things that we tasked to take care of was inventorying, like what trees do we have and what is their health condition. And through a company called Terra Engineering, we inventoried 1,300 trees on campus.
Wow.
And we actually have a map. It's a digital map that you can click on the tree. They're GPS located that shows a picture of the tree, the diameter of it, and we can put notes in such as the last time we pruned it. Did it have ash borer disease? What's going on with the trees? That was the initial part. And we got with Trees Forever. They are a nonprofit. They disperse federal grant money to help keep trees alive in Iowa, Illinois. They do it through multiple states. And we applied for a grant and received our first grant was for the removal of sick trees. We had 25 trees that were dead or dying that needed to be removed. Helps remove the disease from the college, and it opens up the canopy part. We received a wonderful grant. They paid in full for the 25 trees to be removed from the campus. Through that Terra Engineering study of mapping the trees, we then got another grant to find out what trees we could plant on campus and where to plant them. That was from Trees Forever. So now we've removed the dead ones. We have a nice map showing where we can plant them, and now we're in the process. We just applied for a grant to plant 100 trees, and hopefully we get that this spring so we can plant them on Arbor Day. We've lost over the last 5 years about the same number, so that would get us back up to the number of trees that we had 5 years ago.
Okay, so that's pretty great that you are able to get these grants, take care of the tree situation, because all of that costs money.
It does.
You want to kind of replenish what you've taken away, which is everyone's goal, to do that. And it's too bad, but I think some trees just are more prone to disease or have a lifespan.
They are, and I found it very interesting in getting the grant. We, being a higher education institution, I worked with the faculty to what trees would you use in various classes for, say, identification. Also, we have the ecosystem. We're right on the edge of the conservations there, and so we want to plant native trees that help maintain that sustainability of those ecosystems. Are there butterflies that use a certain type of tree or bush? Are there, insects that use the trees? We were able to identify those through the faculty of which trees they wanted, and then luckily almost all of them were available to be used by the grant to plant.
That's great.
We'll have about 20 to 25 different species of trees that we're planting, hopefully this spring, with the help of volunteers. We need volunteers to come out and help on, it's Friday the 24th of April is Arbor Day.
Oh, coming up?
Coming up.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so in deciding what trees are going to be there and having this, tree canopy situation, you mentioned you had Arboretum status. What
Yes.
exactly does that mean?
So, Morton Arboretum recognizes but there's actually a group, it's online, ArbNet, and there's different levels of Arboretum status. We're currently a level 1, which means we have a certain number of trees, and that's really about it, that we have a nice forestry canopy. We're striving to get to the next level, which is level 2, and there we have to implement things such as having a full-time staff member that helps with the sustainability of the trees and provide education not only to the college but to the community, offering programs in either our prairie or in tree identification, things that we would have outreach to the community to help show them and showcase the trees that we have on campus. And that would be the next level, level 2.
You mentioned you had a sustainability committee, both faculty and student. Is there plans maybe in the future, if you do get a sustainability administrator type person like that's specific to that thing, that the community could be involved in something like that?
Yes, actually, we're in the process now of hiring a sustainability coordinator for
Very
the
good.
college.
Yeah.
And really, it's to help me with the communications, to get the word out about the things that we're doing that are available for the community to come help. We would definitely need volunteers from the community to help us get this program to grow, as well as many other things that we'd like to do, such as a recycling day to get rid of electronics and light bulb recycling,
important.
batteries. There's certain places where you can take them, but it doesn't always fit for everybody's schedule. If we were to have a day or a weekend where at the college you could come and drop those recyclables off, then we're not putting them in the landfill.
That would be great too, because boy, when those dates come up, you try and notify everybody because you have these items at home and you don't want to just dump them. You want to do the right thing.
And we don't want them to end up on a roadside or
No.
in the dump.
Right.
We want them to get recycled.
Exactly. So along with, getting these great trees, and, it just breaks my heart when I see somebody in the neighborhood chopping down a tree. I'm like, do you really need to do that? Because that tree is, important. So it's nice to have the replenishment that you're doing there. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the LED lighting, which, are you saving a lot? I see buildings C and D have been replaced with LED lighting. What is the purpose of that?
So we received a grant from IGEN, the Illinois Green Economic Network. They provided us with funding, about $87,000, to replace light bulbs on campus in those 2 buildings. We're going to replace about 420 some light bulbs that are currently ballasted bulbs with LED. This came after early in the spring of 2025, we had Commonwealth Edison do a facility study. They come out for free as part of our bills that we pay to ComEd and look at how we're using our energy, and then they give us advice on how we can save energy and how much. There's also grants available if we follow their advice, or I should say a rebate available from ComEd if we follow their advice to do these LED bulbs. So these 420 some bulbs, we're expected to save about $8,000 a year in
Wow.
lighting costs.
That's a lot.
And that's just a small portion of our campus. We've already done quite a few in LED. We're in the process, as many colleges are, of transitioning from our older light fixtures that were put in when the colleges were built, transferring them over to new LED lights. You get a little better lighting with them, and there's some cost savings to it.
Well, that's great, because
Yeah.
that cost savings and could buy you a tree if you couldn't get a grant for it.
We
can go around.
we are funded through tuition and tax dollars, and right now, if you don't do that, then you end up having to either raise taxes or raise tuition to pay for those increased electric bills that everybody sees.
Yeah, and we sure do. So that's great. Also, through time, the college has had a a garden, a community garden. And that, I'm understanding, went by the wayside after a while. Do you have plans to begin that again?
We did. So COVID, once again, it was a victim of COVID.
Yes.
And it was actually a smaller area that we had that was fenced in, and they built it somewhere that was near the part of the campus where they had access to water. So this spring we are going to renew the community garden where people can come out and garden. In the past, it was always faculty and staff that maintained it. It was not very large, but you know, how nice on your lunch hour that you can go out and do a little bit of gardening and get a little bit of fresh air. And they were very generous with the produce that they, were able to produce there.
Nice.
And sharing with their coworkers.
Yes. Would community members be able to come out and weed in the garden, or?
At this, I think that would be a great idea in the future. And we have 300 and plus acres at the college that maybe we could locate an area to do an actual in-ground community garden. The staff garden, as we would call it, was about 80, 90 square feet. It was not very large. Yeah. However, it was very well used in the past. There's been a calling to, have that come back, to be able to get outside and do some gardening in the summer.
Well, I think particularly for people who maybe don't have the space in a yard or live in a condo or townhouse or whatever and can't garden and enjoy gardening, it gives them a chance to, have a moment out in nature and
absolutely
see what grows, and it tastes a whole lot better too.
It does.
So, yeah. Well, so that's good. So maybe in the future with 300 acres, I didn't realize 300 acres, that's quite large.
We have a very large campus.
You really do, yeah. And, as I travel my route and I'm driving by, I'm thinking this is a wonderful place to walk. It's a wonderful place to just take in the atmosphere there. I don't know if they have the Shakespeare Garden anymore.
We do. And as a matter of fact, one of the pieces for this new sustainability coordinator will be to help us reinvigorate that Shakespeare Garden. Last year we did a nice overhaul of it. But, as things age, you need to put in new bricks and benches and take care of things. The Shakespeare Garden is just beautiful. They have several events that are held there. Many people I've seen people with their families sitting out there where they have memorial bricks and just enjoying the garden. Yeah. It's a very nice place in the center of campus.
In the center of campus, because the campus is big. So if you want to find that, where do you go to find it?
Right to the middle. The buildings are literally circled around. The center of the Shakespeare Garden is in the middle by our large open space.
Okay, easy to find then. Good. One more thing, I want to talk about the Arbor Day on April 24th, where the community members can come out and help plant. Is that what you said?
That is our goal. We will be sending out information as to time and place to do some tree planting on Arbor Day on our campus. That's a Friday. I would envision that it would be sometime in the morning, probably 9 a.m., that we'll meet on campus and distribute trees for planting, along with a map of where we're going to plant them.
That would be fun, especially if it's a nice April day. Now, if someone wants to look on the website, Moraine Valley Community College website, how would they find your section?
So I'm under administration. And then they have a nice photograph of me under administration, and then the various areas that I cover, there's links to those, such as campus operations, sustainability.
So under the sustainability, there might be something about the Arbor Day.
There will be, as well as we're hoping to have it sent out in other various media forms, but we will definitely have that posted online.
Okay, because that is sometimes a good time to bring out I'm not sure all kids will be available, but it's a nice thing for children to get involved, because that gets them, thinking about it. And that's a good thing. Dave, anything else you want to mention about your programs, your sustainability? I like the digital tree map. That's so exciting to me that you can just pinpoint a tree and find out about it.
And we're actually working on, so we would have a link to where the community could go to that. So if you're out walking on one of our beautiful bike paths, walking paths that we have, you could pull it up on your phone and find, I wonder if this is an oak or a maple. What is this tree? And you'd be able to tell. We're trying to get where it can have access to where things can't be entered, but it can be viewed, view only.
Yeah.
So it can be sent out to the community, because nice. I just think that it would be a neat thing to do. Since they finished the bike path, that connects us to the new bike path in Palos. We've noticed more people using our space,
Very
which
good.
is great.
That's what you want. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's that time of year where we're thinking about being outdoors and maybe just walking through the Moraine Valley Community College grounds, and it's really close. You know where it is, right on 111th Street, and just drive west. You'll find it. Thanks for watching us today. We'll see you next time, next month on Meet with Moraine. Bye for now.